Welcome to another episode of Jikoni Magic's Meza. On today's menu is matoke that is cooked in Matumbo stew. On top of it all, I've added to the mix peanut butter and sprinkled peanuts for that added crunch for texture. Start by adding 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil to the sufuria and make sure that it covers the sufuria's bottom. Next, add 1 large onion that is finely sliced and saute for about 30 seconds. Then add 1 teaspoon of curry powder. Let the mixture cook to the point where the onions are almost beginning to acquire some bit of color like this, and then add a teaspoon of ginger and garlic paste. Cook the mixture for about a minute or 2 until it turns fragrant. Then add 2 large tomatoes that have been diced into medium-sized cubes. Next, add 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, and 1 teaspoon white pepper powder. Remember, you can add any spices of your choice. Don't be limited by what I've added here. Now add salt to taste. Reduce the heat to low to give the tomatoes time to soften and break down. Then cover to simmer for about 5 minutes. So here we are after 5 minutes and the tomatoes have broken down to a pulpy consistency. This is the perfect opportunity to add your pre-boiled matumbo. These are half a kg. Rule of thumb is you always have to boil matumbo before using them for any type of cooking. Next, add just enough water to allow the matumbo to simmer for a while whilst absorbing the flavors in the sufuria. Please do not be those people who drown their food in a flood of water. It's inexcusable. Well, unless you're cooking tumbukiza. This is after about 5 minutes of gentle simmering, and I took the opportunity to scoop out some of the hot stew from the sufuria to help in loosening up my peanut butter. Add more if you desire, but just bear in mind that the more you add, the thicker your gravy will be. It's a balancing act that you'll master with time. Your aim is to achieve a consistency that can be easily incorporated into the stew, and to me this was just okay, so I stopped here. Next, add matoke to the sufuria. These are 12 medium-sized matoke that I had divided in half. You can leave them whole if you wish, just know that they will take longer to cook. Also, do not cut them up too small because then it will be harder to handle their cooking because they will mash up quickly, making them hard to handle. These are 2 cups of matumbo stock. I reserved it so that I could enjoy a concentrated matumbo flavor. Use water if you prefer it to the matumbo stock. Since the matumbo stock was clearly not enough to cover the matoke, I added water to make up for the deficit. Again, do not drown your food in water. Add just enough to cover to the top of the matoke. This way you'll ensure that your matoke will cook completely while the flavors still remain concentrated. Cover and leave to simmer for 10 minutes, then add the peanut butter along with 2 medium-sized carrots and a 1/4 cup of spring onions, the white part. Add any vegetable of your choice here. It's important to add the peanut butter midway through your cooking because it's easier to incorporate it into the stew because the matoke are still firm enough to withstand the mixing. If you add too early on, you run the risk of the stew thickening too early and burning before everything is cooked. On the other hand, if you add the peanut butter much later, then you'll be unable to incorporate it properly because the matoke will be too soft and will completely mash up. Cover and leave to simmer for a further 10 minutes. The matoke have softened further and it's a good opportunity to add Royco, which is an optional ingredient, along with hohos or bell peppers. In this instance, I added green and red hohos. Be careful when incorporating them into the stew because the matoke are now very delicate. Cover and leave to simmer for just 2 minutes for the bell peppers to start softening. Remember, the longer you cook the hohos, the more bitter they will get, especially the green ones. To finish off, add the green leafy part of the spring onions and dhania. Mix them in and then sprinkle roasted peanuts on top. I love adding them at this point so that they can remain crunchy. If you prefer them softer, by all means add them earlier than this. Turn off the heat and serve. And before leaving, I'd love to encourage those who are in Nairobi, Kenya, that I've already started my cooking classes. The first one was where we learned how to make Swahili dishes. Everyone was involved right from the preparation of the ingredients to the actual cooking, because I believe that it's the best way to learn and gain experience. Afterwards, the ones who had attended got to carry away the food to share with their friends and loved ones at home. For more information, please check out the description box down below. The next cooking session will be on chapati, which will cook 2 different ways, and samosas. I'll be addressing your questions on how to make super soft layered chapatis. As usual, everything to do with the samosa and chapati cooking will totally be hands-on. Everyone will need their own dough and fold their own samosas. I believe that by doing this, we'll be able to troubleshoot all the areas that are problematic to you. For more information, please check out the description box down below. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Until next time, God willing, I've been yours, Jikoni Magic. Kwaherini ya kuonana.